Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Lego Speed Champions Audi S1 e-tron Quattro. This is set number 76921. It has 274 pieces and I paid $27 for this set. So this is another Speed Champion set that releases, I believe, March 1st, 2024. As of recording this, this is early. This was one of the new waves of Speed Champion sets for 2024. I was able to get some of these early so I could look at them and review them. I don't mean that I got them specifically to review because I'm not sponsored by any company. I'm not affiliated with anybody else. Lego doesn't send me stuff to review or anything like that. I paid for these with my own money. I'm just occasionally able to find some sets early and then try to get the video out as soon as I can. I love Speed Champions. I wasn't thrilled about the price increase. I've already looked at the McLaren Formula 1 car and the Ford Mustang Dark Horse, and I was really impressed with those sets from the design and the piece usages and the build process. And, you know, I did talk about the value there, and I'm excited to look at this one. And then there's also, I think, a BMW 2 pack that is releasing that I'll be taking a look at, and some other stuff. So very exciting so far. The bar has been pretty high, even despite the price increase. So very happy and excited to look at this. So in this video, I'm going to open this up, I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego Speed Champions Audi S1 e-tron Quattro set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. So we start out here with the kind of 8-wide Speed Champion chassis. I liked how the seats were built here. I think this set more so than the other two that released alongside of it uses just a lot of kind of standard building techniques, some studs on top kind of stuff. There's some nice use of angled pieces. I did find some of this sub-assembly, like for this part on the bottom, somewhat interesting, and how you attach the kind of surfboard spoiler was kind of interesting there as well. And I also wanted to make note is that this has a lot more prints than I would have expected, and I do talk about that more in the full review, but it's an appreciated thing. Even in a set that has a ton of stickers, it's still nice to have a good amount of prints as well. Moving on to the next bag of pieces. This one only had the 2 bag of pieces. We kind of build up the rest of the front area here with some internal details. We add kind of the side panel, the door areas sort of on there, which have some nice depth created because they're only like a tile thick at some parts. We add kind of the whole front section, and the front section actually was not as amazing as I thought it was going to be. This first sub-assembly that has kind of that, not bumper, but whatever that part is that sticks out kind of lower on the front end, was a little bit interesting. But when you connect that to the rest of the chassis, you use some 2x3 bricks in there to fill up some space and some kind of regular plates there. So that wasn't my favorite. And then we finish up with the wheels. So now on to my review for this set. Okay, so here we have the new Lego Speed Champions Audi S1 e-tron Quattro set. This is pretty interesting as well. You know, in some ways when I was building this, I thought this was going to be my least favorite of the 3 that I've looked at so far, which is the McLaren Formula 1, the Mustang Dark Horse, and now this one. I haven't looked at the BMW ones or any of the other ones, and this one felt just a little more standard. It felt like some of the stuff in here was stuff I have seen before, and for that reason, like, the build wasn't as exciting for me as the Formula 1 car or the Dark Horse Mustang. But there is some really good stuff in here. There is still some good techniques used, and there is some still some stuff to appreciate here. I do love Speed Champions, so this is no different. I do really like this, but we will kind of get into it here. And the first thing we'll take a look at is the minifigure, because you do get one, and that is this Audi e-tron driver here. So very basic face printing. They have a helmet, just kind of a black helmet there. They also get an alternate hairpiece, which is very cool. Those came in all of the Speed Champion sets here. I always like when Lego does that. It's good to make note of that. Basic face printing does have the big like wrench kind of accessory there. No alternate face. Looking at the torso, we have like up top the Audi logo very small in there. Then it says e-tron across the chest, has some good fine details. We do have printing on the midsection. We do have printing on the legs, and I think this is the most printing on the legs of any of the figures I looked at. If I remember, the McLaren one only just had a little bit on the side here. This one's got a little bit more going on in the middle. Looking at the back, we just have a bigger Audi logo there of all those interlocking rings. So that is good. You know, it's a fine minifigure, always good to get the hairpiece. And the rest of this is okay, you know, not too much to complain about. You know, arms are bare, side of the legs are bare, but that's totally acceptable. And overall, the production quality feels okay, so good to get that. And then the rest of the set, the rest of the build is this S1 e-tron quattro here. And this is really cool. And the first thing I kind of want to get into, I think I've done this in this order for the other ones as well, is look at these stickers, because this has an interesting kind of combination of stickered parts and prints. I don't know, you know, this certainly is more than the Dark Horse. I don't know if it's more than the Formula One. It may be. It's probably here nor there, but I think out of the three of those, of these single car packs, this one has the most printed pieces, I believe, which is kind of interesting here. So I'll kind of go through things right now, right away, to point out stickers and prints and see what I find, and hopefully I don't miss anything here. But we'll start looking at the front. We have a sticker right here. We also do have it on the side and one right there. Other side, very much the same. Now, putting stickers on a 1x1 tile like this is one of my least favorite things to do. I just don't like that. And there's a few other instances of that. We can see the same kind of thing right here in another 1x1. This is a sticker here, sticker there in the middle, and a sticker there. I also do not like putting stickers on the side of a brick, which is done here and on the other side. Have another sticker down there, stickers up here. These are stickers kind of on these square pieces. Other side very much the same. Sticker, 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 sticker there. Two up here. Looking at the rear, actually, there's just the one sticker here, and one here, and then yeah, of course, on the kind of spoiler, the wing, we have a couple there, and then on each one of these kind of angled slope pieces, we have 3 stickers. So the long one down the front, the triangle one on the side, and then another one on the side there. And I think that is all of them. I know there's at least one on the inside for the kind of center area there, the dash, speedometer, or whatever else info. So that's definitely there. And I believe that's all of them, which is, you know, a good amount of stickers. Not good as in like I like it, but good as in like the amount is high. There's a lot of stickers here, but there's also a lot of prints. So one of the things that I thought was super cool is these like hubcap wheel well type things. These rims all have the Audi logo in the middle. Those are all printed, and so you get 4 of those. If we look at the front, the like headlight things here are printed, which is really interesting because I think on the Formula One car they use this same piece, like the same shape, but they don't print that. They have you put a sticker on those. So that was kind of unique, but these are printed really, really well and cool. So that's very nice. Actually, these cheese wedges here are printed with just that black line down there, and then the bigger one in the middle is printed. On the hood here, this is a printed piece. Below that, we have a couple of those 1x2 kind of cheese wedges there. Those are also printed. So a lot of stuff printed right there. Of course, we have the printed canopy, which is very nice. And then looking around to the rear, we have some more printed stuff. And let me see if there's actually any more. Okay, I think there's some printing in here as well. This slope piece is kind of that dark bluish gray on the outside, but the piece is actually red, so that is printed. And if you can see, it's a little bit tough to see, but there is, printing in there. And then looking at the rear, we have a lot of printing. So the kind of stripes are printed on the side of a plate. The Audi logo in the center and all those other little kind of dots are printed on the side there. Over here we have 1x1s which have some stripes printing on the side as well. So that's a lot of printed pieces, I would say, and more than the other ones. And some of them are kind of interesting inclusions. I obviously would hate or not like, and I don't think Lego would do this by put like a big sticker on the side of a plate, of a single like layer plate or something like that. That just doesn't seem like something they would do. And it's even more true for the 1x1s in there. For the 1x1s, you do get an extra one of those that has the printing on it, and you do use some of those in these sets. In the set, like right here and right here, I spun them so the printing wasn't visible from the outside, but you do get several of those just in place of any other red 1x1. But like the stuff on the side here is well done, and I'm glad I don't have to put stickers there. I think they're kind of an interesting one because I've just had them in a set that released alongside this put stickers on there. There's actually quite a few of these kind of angled slopes that are red pieces with gray printing on them. There's a couple back here as well, so that's kind of interesting. And then for this 1x2 kind of slope with the Audi logo and the ones beneath that, those are not unusual pieces for there to be stickers on, but they're printed in this case. For something like this where we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those red 1x1s, and they're not all identical. So there's the number 11 here, number 11 here, and then number 20 here and number 20 here. I do wonder if there's not a way that we could have the Lego group could have printed those, and I think I would take like having those printed and then like put stickers on the front. It's not sure that might be controversial, but that's my gut, because I really don't like putting a sticker on a 1x1 tile like that. It's just so small, and I feel like any errors or if things aren't properly aligned are way more noticeable working on that kind of piece than some of the other ones. So I might have been willing to exchange these ones for something else. And as far as like production goes, I don't know how if that would save money or cost them money or anything like that. It's kind of up in the air. Let me pop this off and we can see some of the other, that's a big printed tile in there on the side of that light or dark bluish gray rather. And again, headlights, interesting. This I understand. I'm glad it's printed. The windscreen or the canopy, I'm very, very glad it's printed. The rest of the stuff kind of makes sense. I could have seen them do stickers for the rims there. I'm glad they didn't. So a nice combination of stickers and prints. I don't know if I agree with every choice, as I've mentioned, but overall it is pretty cool. And like I say, I do think this has the most printed pieces and probably the most unique prints out of the McLaren, the Dark Horse, and this. So then I'm excited to see what the BMW 2-pack has in regards to its printed pieces versus its stickered pieces. So looking at this uses the same kind of chassis, the Speed Champions chassis that for 8 wides that the Dark Horse used, which is pretty standard. This one does have a little bit of like forward rake here, which is nice just because these like axle bricks or axle pieces are offset by just a plate or two, I believe. So you can see that there, which is nice. And then building this up is pretty straightforward, I would say. You start building up the rear of this, and actually I found that this set had the most straightforward building techniques out of all 3 of them. More so than even the Dark Horse, which I thought was not gonna be too unique in its techniques or piece usages. This one is much more basic. So there's not a ton of interesting stuff here. Most of it is studs on top. There's a little couple elements, like this is a stud on the side brick with then a brick and then a tile here. Same on the other side. They also use some Technic, or no, maybe this is not a stud on the side brick, and this is a 1x1 brick with a Technic pinhole. I think that's what it is. And then you clip something onto there. The whole like sub-assembly for the kind of spoiler and the wing here is interesting how it's put together. It does use a piece that I would say is a new piece, which is that, oh wait, no, it doesn't. I am misremembering a part. There is a piece that I made note of with the Dark Horse, and I thought it was used at the rear here, and maybe it is. Oh yes, right here, which is like a 2x6 bracket, but it just has the 1 stud down here and 1 stud down here. So I thought that was kind of a nice use. The Dark Horse used it for like the side panel, the door area there, and this one used it down here, which is nice. But like a lot of this stuff, there is some use of brackets here to help attach kind of these wing elements there. But this is just like studs on top kind of stuff. Interestingly enough, underneath here they use like a surfboard or snowboard or whatever in the dark bluish gray there, and that had a really interesting connection using some of the really thin pieces that let me see here, I'll pop this off. These super thin pieces that have like a hollow stud on one side and then a 90-degree angle, and then like the hole. And I think that hole traditionally has been used to like go around a minifigure head, and then they have a single stud on the back so that you can attach something to the back. So you use those here with those modified tiles with the vertical rail or bar piece coming out of it. You attach these. They do get supported by like an ingot piece and everything else, but a lot of this is studs on top right here coming through here, and then you use those very shallow kind of holes to attach the 2 studs from the snowboard, surfboard kind of on there, which is a nice effect, a good technique, and I like to see that. And then we can kind of attach this back on. It's not super easy to take this off, because the way this is built, you kind of do one side at once and then you add the other side. So we can get that back on there, which is nice. As far as like the whole back here, this is very basic, pretty, I guess, somewhat interesting piece used for like the back window there, but these kind of angled sloped pieces are fine. I don't love putting 3 stickers on the same piece, but it ends up looking okay. I think I did an all right job, so that's fine. One of the stickers I think I forgot to point out is this one here. So this is also a sticker, and then With the canopy, which is print, it does use this. It's not like a windshield wiper, although it might look like that. I'm actually not sure exactly what it's supposed to be, and maybe it is a windshield wiper. I don't think so though, but they do kind of instruct you when you're taking the windscreen off to move that lever out of the way. We can fit some mini figures in here, steering over here, maybe the gear shift or whatever else this kind of bar element sticking up through the middle is. And then we have kind of like bucket seats again or something. And I actually like how the seats are done for this. They remind me of the ones that were in the Dark Horse. They're not quite the same, but somewhat similar in how they're constructed using different like slope pieces there. So we can get a minifigure in there. They're in there without their helmet on right now. If I pop the helmet on, let's see here. Get that closed up, looks great. Very, very nice. So get that. You could probably fit another person in there, which is awesome to be able to do. I like that a lot. So good roomy interior. And then moving on to the front of this was actually interesting because you start building kind of the whole subassembly for the front here, and I don't know what to call this. It's not like a bumper, but it's like this lower part of the frame of the vehicle that like sticks out past where I would traditionally say is like the hood, but that's done really, really nicely. It's kind of a key component of this vehicle, and I think it was achieved rather well. So that is kind of its own little sub-assembly, and then you attach it to the rest. And underneath some of this hood, to get this extra extension, there's actually some stuff that I was like a little bit disappointed by, frankly, after building this after the Dark Horse, because there's a couple like 2x3 bricks in there, and then on top of that you have like a 2x6 plate and it just studs on top, and that's like a good amount of bulk in here. So between kind of the fender area and maybe even a little bit further back, maybe like a stud back from the center of that, there's some pieces that take up a lot of space, and it's not super inventive or super interesting building techniques. It's very standard Lego, but the overall effect is still really good. So it's not like, doesn't necessarily detract from it, but when I was kind of thinking about the build experience, it is something that I made note of. And like I was anticipating the Dark Horse to be, this one does have kind of a rather standard shaping. If you can get rid of some of the more ornamental things or whatever, a lot of this feels like a similar shape to other Speed Champions vehicles, other vehicles from other themes. So it's not like totally revolutionary, and the building, I think, process reflects that. And the parts that are the most interesting, are some of the more unique qualities of this, like these bits down here, like where exhaust or whatever would be, like these are clipped on, and I thought using that new piece was interesting. Some of these printed pieces here, like that was interesting. How you attach the surfboard was interesting. How you attach the kind of spoiler wing back there was interesting. And then some of the stuff inside of here with different angles, kind of intersecting and crossing and making all this very layered, very multi-dimensional kind of silhouette and just overall look is really, really solid. I think the side panels are very, very standard. They do come together in a sort of a sub-assembly way, but you can see, I don't know if this is supposed to be intake or something necessarily there, but it's just the triangle tile on kind of one stud there. This was interesting, putting a bracket piece kind of sideways in there, so it's not actually studded down to anything behind it, but it's studded down to a plate up here. And there is a pretty big difference between like this kind of tile here and then moving in a little ways, so it does slim this down a little bit, which is good. But like putting this on with all of these different brackets, putting these kind of bits on, not terribly interesting, very kind of standard there, but I think it achieves the shape intended for this rather well. The color blocking is pretty good. It cuts a nice angle kind of all throughout, and the rake is like very subtle, but I think also good that it's there. So that's the kind of like small details that I do appreciate. And I think that's kind of most of the stuff here. I think this is pretty good. I think this is really good even. I don't know where it ranks for me among other 8-wide Speed Champion sets from years previous. It could be that this ends up being near the top, near the middle, near the bottom. I'm not really sure. It's sort of, for the 3 that I've looked at from this 2024 wave, I think this one's my least favorite, even though it has a lot going for it with the printed pieces and stuff like that. I just found the build to be a little more expected and a little more average than the other ones. The other ones kind of surprised me a little bit more, engaged me a little bit more, and kind of inspired me with some of the techniques and design choices a little bit more than this, which isn't to say this is bad at all. In fact, it is quite good. It just didn't like hit me in the same way when I was putting it together that the McLaren F1 car and the Mustang Dark Horse did, because the Dark Horse especially really surprised me with how inventive it was to achieve what I wrongly assumed was a rather standard looking vehicle, and this one is maybe more interesting looking in some respects, but the build isn't particularly amazing for the most part. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. I will show the extra pieces here because you do get some, and you do get at least one printed piece here, which is the cheese wedge with the kind of stripe on the bottom there. Another printed piece here, which is this 1x1 plate with the kind of stripes on one side of it, and then you just get your 1x1s, your plates, your tiles, bar element, Technic pin, cheese wedge, the visor, the lever, all that different stuff. Pretty standard for your extra pieces there, so that's good to get those. And this set is 274 pieces, and it retails for $27. On a price per piece level, even though a lot of these are small. It about makes sense, but as I talked about with the F1 car and with the Dark Horse, in comparison to years past when a single car Speed Champion was either $25 or, preferably $20 before that, $27 feels bad. The price increase feels bad. I don't know if I would think this one is bad if I never knew about or never built any of the older Speed Champions. And I've recently seen some of the more, not this wave of Speed Champions, but the ones that have been released in 2023, for example, being on discounted rather well. So, maybe these will go the same way and eventually will be discounted. I'm not sure, and I don't really ever like to rely on that to try to get these products for what I would say is a appropriate price. So, all that said, I'm not sure if this is overpriced or not. It certainly feels like it. It does have printed pieces, some new elements, different stuff that is specific to this, which is good. I mean, that certainly increases the production cost to make all of those, printed pieces there. And it may be that it's worth it. It's interesting because this one at 274 pieces is kind of between the Dark Horse and the Formula One. I think the Formula One was at like 244, so like 30 less pieces or maybe 45 or something. And then the Dark Horse was at like 344. So this one's on not quite in the middle, but it's, slightly, 30 more pieces roughly than the F1 car, and maybe 70 less pieces than the Ford Mustang Dark Horse, which is kind of interesting to see comparing the size of all of them. Let me actually grab those so we can see that. Here is the Mustang, and Here is the F1 vehicle. So I kind of pulled the F1 out after I had built the Mustang. You know, these all have overall so different lengths here, certainly different heights and thickness, and then build density I think is the next kind of thing to consider, because I think the Ford Mustang Dark Horse has more build density and part density than the e-tron Quattro here. But having these all together now, like, I do think these are a great wave of Speed Champion sets, and like I said, I can't wait to look at the BMW 2-pack and see where else this theme takes us. I would love for these to go back to a slightly better price in my mind. And let me actually, while I'm here, look, see this piece where the chrome is on the front, I think it's the same as this piece, and these are stickers, and on the Audi it is a print, so kind of interesting there, but that's neither here nor there really. But these are like super solid. If they were $25 a piece, that would be better. But if this one's got a considerable amount more going into it than some of the other ones, and they want them all to kind of have a consistent pricing scheme, maybe it makes sense, because there is some range here. And I don't know if Lego would want to say this one's $23, this one's $25, and this one's $27 or $30 even, because it's over 300 pieces, getting close to $350. I don't know if they really want to do that for the single car packs. It seems to me that as far as like the wave releases go, they would like to keep these at like a consistent price point between them all. And the $27 price doesn't feel great. It also doesn't feel particularly egregious. It feels egregious and greedy when compared to what these would have cost in the past, even a year or two ago. So I would still like them to bump these down to 25, or to adjust their pricing scheme going forward. If they could get back down to 20, I think this would remain like this would be probably like the best value and best like theme of Lego sets. And now with the price kind of creeping up, the quality is not going down necessarily, except for like production quality issues like mold marks and stuff, but the quality of the builds and the design and the piece usages and everything like that is maintaining or improving. I don't know if that necessarily translates to like raising the price here. So I would love it for these to drop back down to 25, which when they went up to 25, I was like, this is outrageous. It's a 25% increase from 20 to 25, and now we just had another maybe 10% increase from 25 to 27, and you're slightly less than 10%, but so I'm always kind of long-winded about this for all three of these when I reviewed it, because as far as the value goes, so much of this is tied up to what I expect, what the kind of base level Lego has set in the past, and this is more than that, and so it feels bad. But if I was looking at these on their own, I don't know if I would complain necessarily. Like, there certainly are other sets that are worse value in my opinion, and potentially far, a lot worse in value. So even at $27, it doesn't feel great, but it might be that these are still, relatively okay value, or at least acceptable. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. But I've loved all three of these. I think this one ends up being my sleeper favorite. I really love the McLaren F1 as well, and I love to be able to look at this one next to the big scale Technic one. And if they do an Icons one, that's not exactly this model or exactly this year, but that'll be interesting. And the e-tron Quattro here is very good. Will look excellent next to all of my other 8-wide Speed Champions, as well as the 6-wide. I love this theme. These are really wonderful. $27 doesn't feel great. It also doesn't feel like the absolute worst. It could easily get a lot worse. but things could always get worse, things could always get better, and I think it's worthwhile to kind of discuss that and think about that, because I think this is in a really weird middle area, and I would love to hear other people's thoughts. If they think the price increase is unjustified, if they think it makes sense, if you have thoughts on the price of these, or any other thoughts about these sets or any other Lego set I talk about, or my videos in general, please leave a comment. I really appreciate reading those and seeing those. I'll try to respond to them as well, and it's just nice to know that people have thoughts and feelings and want to engage with me if they're watching my videos. So leave a comment if you like. I appreciate it, and I think that's it for this one. So if you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including more Speed Champions like the BMW 2-pack, and then a ton of other Lego sets from all different themes, all different shapes, size, price point, piece count, tons of different stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of those upcoming Lego videos. And if you want to support this channel and support my videos here, you can do that right here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. And I still have the Patreon. It's in the video description on my channel page, patreon.com/sobricks, and you can get access to all my videos early, get access to some exclusive videos and some other stuff. Helps me a lot. Every little bit helps, so I very much appreciate it. So thank you anybody that considers that. It means a lot to me. Thank you anybody who watches, likes, comments, subscribes. Also means a lot to me, so thank you very much. And with all that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.